Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us on this very windy day yet again this year. I'm Dirk Murray. I am the veteran of the Clinton Community College Veterans Club, and I'm a Marine Corps veteran. I've served 4 years in the United States Marine Corps, 2 combat tours over in Afghanistan for up to 2 years. And today, thank you for joining us for our vocation. Real quickly, some of you may notice I have this chair next to me. What we're doing real quickly is the basic ceremony that most legions and foreign war buildings do a lot and stuff, the PWMA ceremony. The chair represents members of the armed forces that are not able to be here with us today, either prisoners of war or missing in action. It's a remembrance for us Americans and people who love our military dearly, that we are in a constant struggle to get the people who are prisoners released and returned to us safely, and to keep those in our prayers who are missing and that they return home safely to us. If some of you mind, please removing your hats and stuff. We will have the national anthem and the flag raising done by the SUNY Plattsburgh ROTC group. The anthem will be sung by Brett Carpenter, a fellow veteran here at the college.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets reckless, the bombs bursting in air, gave through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, save us, that star-spangled banner yet to wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, Brett. Next will be our invocation, led by Mary Skillen.
Today we come here to honor those men and women who have served our country so that we may stand here and live in a free, democratic society. All veterans have sacrificed in service to country, though for some it was the ultimate sacrifice of the duty of veterans, past and present, is the fiber and is made stronger by service and sacrifice. We honor that service and sacrifice forward for our children to remember and honor. Freedom and democracy are a result of the most honorable this country has produced. Today, we stand to remember the most honorable amongst us. Continue to carry the burden of their sacrifice, lest we think of what true freedom is. Today is for remembering, to stand in honor of these men and women, to walk their path of duty, never forget the cost, and hold in your heart the cause of freedom. Amen.
Now, I have the pleasure of introducing a fellow veteran from here at the college. He is a good friend of mine. I've known him several years coming here. He served in the United States Navy as a radio operator from 1976 to 1975. 9th on the USS Jason, which was at that time the flagship of our U.S. 3rd Fleet. After that time, from 1980 to 1982, he was stationed at NAS Brunswick in Maine up to the end of his service time. He is currently a student here at Clinton Community as well, and he is the sitting Vice President of the Student Senate. Please welcome Mr. Peter Regnier.
Thank you all. A little breezy today, a little white caps on Lake Champlain, no big deal. I was in a 7-day storm in the Pacific Ocean. I can handle this. Good afternoon. I'm so honored to be chosen to speak today. I'd like to extend a warm welcome to all veterans, their families, active duty and reserve members of the United States military, honored guests, students, and community members to this year's annual Veterans Day celebration. Today I'll share with you a brief history of this great day, our region's importance in military history, and my experiences in America's Navy and here at Clinton Community College as a returning veteran student. President Woodrow Wilson, along with Congress, created Armistice Day to be celebrated on November 11th, beginning in 1919, and it was originally created to honor those that served during World War I. On June 1st, 1954, Congress replaced Armistice with Veterans, and it has been since known as Veterans Day. Like many families in America, my family has a history with the U.S. military as well. My father, Richard, spent 10 years in the Army National Guard, and he drove tank transports. My uncle Doug just retired from the Guard after 42 years, and they both drilled at Fort Drum. I started boot camp on December 29th, 1976 at Naval Training Center, Great Lakes. Later in '77, I joined my Sea Command, the USS Jason. It was stationed at the 32nd Street Naval Station in San Diego. After my active duty service, I finished, as you heard, at NAS Brunswick, Maine. Other than the USS Constitution, the USS Jason has the longest service to the fleet in Navy history, and she remains to this day the most decorated ship to ever serve the fleet. During my time as a radioman on the Jason, she served, as you heard, as the 3rd Fleet flagship. The 3rd Fleet patrols include the Pacific Ocean, the Orient, Southeast Asia, among other waters. At one time, the 3rd Fleet was commanded by Admiral William Halsey. It was under Admiral Halsey's command that on September 2nd, 1945, on the fantail of the then 3rd Fleet flagship, the USS Missouri, while anchored in Tokyo Bay, the Emperor of Japan signed the documents of surrender, ending World War II. I have a pair of interesting notes on the Missouri and the Jason to share with you. The USS Missouri set sail on its first mission, leaving Norfolk Naval Station on Veterans Day in 1944. In 1976, during the filming of the movie MacArthur, the scene depicting the signing of the documents of surrender on board the Missouri was actually shot on the fantail of the USS Jason. I wasn't yet on board for that filming, but I was on board when the frigate USS Reasoner, tied up across the pier from us, was used for shooting the music video in the Navy. True story. At least it wasn't YMCA. We live in an area rich in military history. The Strategic Air Command's Plattsburgh Air Force Base has been a proud part of our lives for many decades. During the Cold War, as many as 15 ICBM silos dotted our region, playing a part in our protective shield against the nuclear war. These silos were decommissioned in 1965, and some of them actually serve as homes. Behind us, Valcour Island to the right was a battle site during the Revolutionary War, and to the left, Crab Island was a field hospital during the War of 1812 and operated during the Battle of Plattsburgh, the battle that ended the War of 1812. Pretty breezy out here. Recently, Clinton Community College was recognized as a military-friendly school. Now, this honor is awarded to the top 15% of colleges, universities, and trade schools in the country that are doing the most to embrace military students and to dedicate resources to ensure their success in the classroom after graduation. I can personally attest to the accuracy of that designation. Before I even applied to attend this college, I called Tracy Gwinnett because I read he was the veterans rep. I knew that he would understand where I was coming from and what my situation was as a returning veteran. I can't count the number of times I was in Tracy's office the first 2 weeks of my first semester here. I believe that by now he could tell you he recognizes the cadence of my footsteps in the hall before I even enter his office. When I began my studies here, I received tuition help from the VRAP program. Now, the VRAP program was designed for veterans returning to college or trade school between the ages of 35 and 60. Luckily, I just made the minimum age requirements. As I moved through the semester, I noticed there was a problem with VRAP. It stopped funding as of March 2013, but as we know, college spring semesters end in May, and for some trade schools in June. That date didn't make any sense. In the spirit of veterans helping other veterans, I took my concerns to former Air Force Captain and U.S. Congressman Bill Owens. He sat down with me as I explained that although I understood the program couldn't add another year, could we get it extended at least until the end of the semester? Bill then asked me, would the end of June be a good date? I told him it would. Bill then went to Washington and reached across the aisle to Jeff Miller, a Republican congressman and the chairman of the House Committee on Veterans Affairs, and he co-sponsored H.R. 562, also known as the VRAP Extension Act of 2013. 5 months later, I got an email from Congressman Miller informing me and over 130,000 veterans nationwide that we would be getting funded until the end of June 2013. I was dotting my eyes as I read it, so I showed it to my wife, Mary Beth. Big smile came across her face, and she said, "You did it." It was by far the proudest day of my life. But of course, I didn't do it alone, and that's my point. There is a special bond and cohesiveness in the veteran population that never goes away. When one of us needs help, there are 5 more to jump in and work together. As I close, I ask that we acknowledge that bond and remember the importance of this day and the men and women who serve. Certain politicians have argued over what percentage of people are entitled to benefits. Veterans were part of a list called the 45%. I can say with full certainty that every one of our veterans are entitled to come home and reclaim the lives they left here after leaving their families, honorably volunteering to take the ultimate risk, and for many paying the ultimate price so we can all live at home in peace. Thank you all for being here today. And after we leave, you'll see many men and women displaying something to show their military service, like a hat, maybe a patch, a pin, or a t-shirt. Just take a moment to say Happy Veterans Day and watch the face of that veteran light up with gratitude. To all of you, I say, may you all enjoy fair winds and following seas, and may God bless America. Thank you.